In this episode, I am excited to get back to a subject that we haven't covered in a while, surprisingly, and that is forgotten 80s playsets. So, stick around. Fellow dorks and dorkettes, and welcome to Nostalgia Syndrome. My name is Rob, and in this episode we will be talking about more of those forgotten 80s playsets. It's been a while since we have covered this topic, surprisingly. I was blown away when I looked at the air date of the last one. Had to remedy that right away, because this is a subject that I absolutely love to talk about. Playsets are a thing of the past. I mean, nowadays, if there was a playset to come out, it would probably be hundreds of dollars because a simple action figure is $20. Back in the day, the action figure was super cheap, and the playset, it could go either way, but looking at it now, it would have never broken the bank like they would if they were made today. So anyway, without further ado, let's get to number one. Number one comes from Kenner, from the year 1987. And to be honest, Kenner did not tout this as a playset, but I sure as heck will, because it's got everything you need for an awesome playset. What this is the Billboard Blast from the Mask toy line. And just like all the awesome vehicles in the Mask toy line, this also transforms from everyday billboard to a turret with a mini missile silo that launches real missiles. One of the most awesome things about this is just how tied to the Mask universe it is, because the billboard is advertising a stock car race with Matt Tracker's Thunderhawk. On the other side, it is a Pennzoil advertisement with the F1 racing Mask vehicle, which totally escapes my memory at the moment. But anyway, once you unfold this billboard, you have a gunning station, and like I said, it is a mini missile silo because the post has a hole at the top that you can put two included missiles into that will fire. This playset also came with the figure of Dusty Hayes with his Mask vacuum. I think this is an awesome mini playset, and it would have worked perfectly with the monster playset of Boulder Hill. You add this to the outside and you have a very realistic playset environment. I mean, super awesome. Number two is a playset that also doubles as a board game, depending on who is categorizing it. I, of course, firmly put it into the playset category, and it is the Muscles Wrestling Arena, or as written on the box, the Hard Knockin' Rockin' Ring. Now, what makes this a game per se is that you would take your muscle figures and attach them to a little plastic armature which was attached to joysticks on either end of the wrestling ring. The whole thing was to then knock and bash and batter your muscle figures together until one of them came free from its armature. That would be the winner then, who was still attached to his armature, raising his, well, some of them were just like this, raising his non-posable arms to the sky. But anyway, I loved muscle figures, and I would have loved this playset. Now, muscles were just something you collected. I mean, of course you could play with them. You can play with virtually anything. I mean, how many of you just played with a stick growing up? But anyway, these little rubber figures, like I said, weren't very posable. So this actually added some action and playability to these little collectible alien wrestlers. The two things that I absolutely adore about this playset. One, I love the colorful original Japanese artwork all over it. The stickers are beautiful and feature some really awesome characters. Second is the actual springy elastic ring ropes that it has. Now, they don't really factor that much into the armature fighting aspect of it, but you could always put a muscle in there and pull it down and shoot him up into the sky, and if you're lucky, he's going to do a body press to whoever's in the ring, or like a swanton or something awesome.
Muscle Invasion Update. Scientists discover muscle things have come to wrestle. America's only hope, the Battling Belt and the wrestling ring.
He moves left. He took one. Into the Battling Belt it goes. He's got another. Folks, this wrestling ring may save the world. One more to go. He's got him. His Battling Belt. Oh, hard knocking, rocking ring. Battling Belt. Muscle figure packs each sold separately. New from Mattel. Can you save the world?
Number 3 was something that Tonka put out in 1985 for the very short-lived toy line of Star Fairies. This is Castle Wishstar. Now, Star Fairies was one of those failed pilot movies that made its way to VHS and circulated that way. Now, Tonka did the toys, and they were little fashion doll fairies. Now, the castle was a pretty good size, fold-out, lavender, pinkish, jewel-encrusted ordeal. And it would fit into any of your medieval or fantasy or sci-fi toy lines, if you wanted it to. Now, of course, it offers some things that wouldn't fit perfectly with He-Man, a little bit more She-Ra, or, of course, Star Fairies if you want to collect those. Now, some of the aspects of the castle are, it has crystal towers with waving flags. I mean, they're static, but they look like they're waving. Opening and closing doors and a balcony, a throne, display stands, a bed, and even a bubble bath. But the one thing that is a little bit odd, it comes with a small carousel that you would stand a couple of the figures on and spin it around as they were dancing around a maypole. I mean, you know what? Star Fairies or not, it's a play set and they are sorely missed nowadays. Our fourth playset is kind of cheating because it came out in 1979. It was put out by Mego and it was the Buck Rogers Starfighter Command Center. This thing was awesome, and I remember watching Buck Rogers probably in syndication in the very, very, very early 80s, maybe even the late 70s, but I love that show, and I would have loved to have any of these toys. The only one I had was a little matchbox of one of the Starfighters. But anyway, this playset is actually massive as it features 2 floors, and both of them are pretty spacious. I mean, you have steps that go up to a second landing that has a lot of headspace for your 3 3/4 inch figures to walk around in. It comes with a runway with an open port that I guess is like an airlock that they would be shooting out into space from. That's pretty cool. But on top of that is like a little command center with a chair and 70s technical gobbledygook sticker for Buck or whoever to sit in front of. It also has a couple other like standing computers with the same kind of techno gobbledygook 70s aesthetic stickers on them. I mean, it's really weird that in the future they don't have an alphabet or numbers, it's just a bunch of lines and colors. That's pretty sad. But anyway, I mean, think about it. If you're colorblind, you are definitely screwed in the future. Well, the Buck Rogers future anyway. So anyway, I mean, this is a really bare bones, yet very big and spacious playset that would work for any of your 3 3/4 inch figures. I mean, this could double as a G.I. Joe base, a Cobra base, Star Wars, what have you. Number 5. Not necessarily a playset, kind of like some of the other ones on this list, but I just had to talk about it. And I can't find any other place to talk about it but here. This was made from a toy company called Luco, and it was released in 1986. This is the official, over-the-top mini arm wrestling table. Featured the same things that were seen in the movie. A big red handle and blue cushions. That's about it. But the thing is, these figures came with a very small knob on the back that you could turn and turn and turn to get them to, hammer it home. So you and a buddy could have an arm wrestling competition while trying to move these little knobs on the back of the figures to see who goes over the top. Yeah. Anyway, I remember watching this movie all the time on HBO growing up, and I loved it. I mean, the kid was annoying, but gotta love Sylvester Stallone. I mean, it's Rambo. He's awesome in practically everything he's in. But this would be an interesting toy to get, and I am not 100% sure what the scale of the over-the-top figures are. I remember seeing them in the stores, and they were warming a lot of pegs for a very long time. But I think they were, probably 5-6 inches. So maybe your G.I. Joe classified figures could, do some arm wrestling in their off time. Anyway, yeah, over the top. Okay, folks, that was 5 forgotten 80s playsets. This is number 11 in the series, and yeah, there's dozens of them, hundreds of them out there. So we'll hit them all eventually, but kind of took a detour in this episode to talk about some ones that aren't your typical playsets, but you play with them, and they're kind of sets, and they go with your figures, so I say they count. So anyway, I mean, some of them I just wanted to talk about, like Over the Top. Rawr. Remember that dude that drank the motor oil like it was chocolate milk? Genius. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them and I love getting back to everyone. And if you're new around here and you enjoyed this or any of the other episodes that YouTube is recommending down here, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you will be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Keep being rad and stay dorky.